Say? Now, I know you're sitting here and you're wondering, you're like, what's going on? Because we don't know what this if it was me shit is. I know Petty Review and Petty B's here, finally, but we gonna give you the Petty
Fuck
Review.
you. Fuck fucking you. That is all my fault. Fuck fucking you.
we go show, we go through the Petty
Yeah.
Review for y'all later on in the day. You know, I said you're here. As of right now, we are doing a new series called If It Was Me. And If It Was Me, episode 1 will be brought to you by its inspirational leader, Shanadan. And as you can see in the title, what if the roster for the Dragon Ball's Super Tournament was changed? Who would you pick? Who would I pick? You know, me, I probably pick motherfuckers that wouldn't even qualify because I ain't watched that shit since Cell Saga. But Shanadan has all the answers. So, from here on out, we're going to find out what Shanadan would do if he had to repick the rosters for Universe 7 of the Super Tournament. I said you heard it. So, everybody welcome your boy, Sean the Dunlop.
What up, YouTube? How's everyone doing today?
So, now, give them a little backstory if they're not all the way. I'm pretty sure they're all the way up to date, but
I'm sorry. I have to comment on this. You should got long ass balls, so let's just wait for Matt to say something. I mean, like, I was just so fucking confused with that. You know, I'm shut the fuck up. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Okay, shut up. I'm sorry.
And even when he's not on the show, the petty one makes his presence felt.
always and forever.
Always.
That was a plug for tonight's show if you didn't know what the petty
Plug for tonight's show, which is gonna be lit, by the way, if y'all didn't see that pay-per-view. We gonna be lit just talking about it. But anyway, that's for another topic a few hours away. So, backstory to the Dragon Ball Super Climax, if you want to call it that. The Tournament of Power arc is what it's called. Still pending being the end of Dragon Ball Super, because we technically don't know if it's coming back after the movie comes out this December or not. But for anyone who doesn't know, Dragon Ball Super is either ending or going on hiatus for a while they work on this movie now. So the last episode actually airs next weekend, officially, until further notice. So the entire last 45, I believe, episodes or so, roughly, of the show is called the Tournament of Power arc. You have the 12 universes that we were introduced to in Dragon Ball Super. We found out that Goku is just one small person on one small planet in one small galaxy in one small universe in a multitude of universes. So, it has, out of the 12 universes, 8 universes are competing. 4 of them are exempt from the tournament because they're apparently amazing at what they do. So, basically the premise of the 8 universes fighting is each universe had to select 10 fighters in a giant battle royal, essentially, which would last 48 minutes, and the goal was to eliminate all the other competitors. Basically, at the end, whoever, assuming that a team had, you know, fighters left and everyone else was eliminated from all the other teams, then that team would be the winner. So after every team gets eliminated, all 10 fighters are eliminated from the arena, they are erased, which was the big, like, crazy, you know, shocking thing, was they revealed that Zeno, who is the king of all universes, essentially, wanted to erase these 8 universes because he felt like they were inferior or under quality of what a universe should be. But he liked Goku so much and became friends with Goku. And after seeing Goku fight at various different points, they decided to have this tournament so that Zeno could enjoy watching the people fight. And then it was decided that the winner would be allowed to survive, basically. So instead of all 8 universes getting erased, one of them gets to live if they win the tournament, basically. So that's the general backstory premise of the Tournament of Power. I can briefly just say that the team they selected for the Tournament of Power is, in the show, is Krillin, Tien Shinhan, Master Roshi, Piccolo, Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, Frieza. Who am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting?
Android.
Goku, Vegeta. Yeah, Android 18, Android 17. Yeah, so Android 18, Android 17, Krillin, Tien, Master Roshi, Goku, Piccolo, Frieza, Vegeta, and Gohan. Yeah, I think that's all 10. So that's who they picked for their team. They were originally supposed to have Majin Buu, but then he fell asleep for 2 months, so they couldn't use him, basically. And that was kind of it. Interestingly, it's kind of interesting to me, at least, that all of the fighters came from people Goku knew directly. Like, you would think that Whis and Beerus being these all-powerful beings, they would know of, like, maybe some fighter in another section of the universe that Goku hasn't actually met yet, but apparently not. Apparently they just said, okay, the only strong fighters are people Goku already knows, which kind of didn't make any sense to me. It seemed like it would have been a cool opportunity for them to introduce a new character and be like, hey, by the way, there's these really powerful people that you haven't met, but they chose to instead just use people we already know. So, but yeah, and that's the basic backstory of how the show is handling the Tournament of Power, which, like I said, ends next week. My opinion is that some of the characters make sense. Like, obviously, Goku and Vegeta are probably the two most powerful characters they have, so it's pretty self-explanatory why they're in the tournament. But Master Roshi, kind of a head-scratcher to me. I mean, I love Master Roshi. He's everyone's favorite little pervert, hermit, but the guy's power level is literally like 180 or something like that, 160. Like, his power level is basically not even existent on the scale of power levels that we're used to seeing at this point. Doesn't really make any sense to have him in the tournament. Same thing could be said for Krillin, Tien. Like, yeah, they're cool characters, and it is nice to see them getting some screen time, but stylistically, it doesn't really make any sense. Like, Krillin, Tien, and Master Roshi couldn't even beat Super Saiyan Goku. So, how are they supposed to be fighting in this tournament with people that are more powerful than Super Saiyan Goku? It just doesn't make any sense. So, that's when I came up with this idea of, if I were doing the Tournament of Power, who would I have put on the team? There is a lot of similarities, honestly, just because there's only so many characters to go around, and we can't really make our own characters up and just insert them in, so you can only really work with what you have given from the information provided. But that's where the idea came from for the list.
Right. Okay, so I'm assuming you said it's 10 fighters for each team, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you doing the list just for Universe 7?
Correct. Yeah, because I mean, obviously we didn't really know any of the other characters until they were introduced. Like Jiren, for example, can't really put him on a list because you didn't even know who Jiren was until the Tournament of Power.
Right.
So, yeah. So it'll just be characters for Universe 7.
Okay. So you gonna go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Well, honorable mention and then 10 to 1.
Okay.
So, starting off with our honorable mention, we have everyone's favorite purple or blue-haired person, depending on the version of the show you're watching, apparently. That's another issue I have with Dragon Ball Super. They suddenly decided Trunks' hair is blue now, which was very confusing to me.
wondering where that came from in the game, where he all of a sudden had the Bulma hair. Okay.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me, but, I guess they have some way of explaining it, but it doesn't really make sense. But anyway,
I mean, other than hair dye?
Yes. Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
Nothing can be that simple.
I don't know. Maybe it's the stress of living in the future and the world like crumbling around you made his hair go blue. I don't know. But
hold on real quick, Sean. Dragon Ball expert. I really don't know what that means. He watches a lot of the shows all the shows pretty much. So I guess if you're somebody who knows a lot about the shit, yeah, I guess. And is he a robot? Yes, we are robots. We are created from metal and machine to give you this information.
Yes, I'm actually. What you didn't know is that I'm actually Android 22. So.
I said you heard.
So yeah, so honorable mention goes to Future Trunks, mainly because he's technically not in the timeline, so it would have taken some weird story like devices to explain how he would come back to their timeline again to fight in the Tournament of Power. If he had stayed in the existing timeline and not gone back, then I would say he would have been a no-brainer. But he wasn't there, so it makes sense why he couldn't be in it. But they've already shown in the previous story arc, the Goku Black arc, that Future Trunks Super Saiyan 2 is actually on par with Goku Super Saiyan 3 transformation, so he is pretty powerful and would have been a valuable asset to participate. So with that out of the way, number 10, like I said, some of these characters are on the actual team, so you're going to see some similarities, but number 10 is Android 18. We know that she's at least somewhat stronger than a Super Saiyan, at least when Vegeta was a Super Saiyan at first, so that still makes her pretty powerful. I mean, she might not be as powerful as Cell or Super Saiyan 2 or anything like that, but she's still a pretty competent fighter. She's significantly stronger than Master Roshi and Tien and Krillin, so there's that. Number 9, I have Android 17. So again, same reasons. Android 17, just like 18, very powerful. Probably, I would say, at least stronger than the old Super Saiyans. I'm not sure if he would still be stronger than Goku Super Saiyan now, but just because of all the power boosts and stuff to his base power level. But at least when they were introduced, and the other thing that people sometimes forget about the androids until they bring it up specifically in the show, but the androids have this nice little factor of unlimited energy. They do not have ki drain. So that's a valuable asset for sure.
That was something I noticed from the games. That's why they're bastard to fight.
Yeah, they can basically just spam,
whatever
super attacks whenever they want, and it never hurts them. So number 8 is Piccolo. Obviously, Piccolo at this point is fused with Nail and Kami, so some people call him the Super Namekian, kind of like the Super Saiyan for the Nameks because of his power level being so high. Okay. Not only is Piccolo a powerful fighter, but there is something to be said for having wisdom and strategy in a tournament like this. And Piccolo has always been a very intelligent fighter who comes up with strategies to overcome situations even when he might not be as powerful as his opponent. So definitely he could be useful not only as a fighter but also strategizing and coming up with plans for the team.
For sure.
Number 7 will be the first different selection I've made, and that's Perfect Cell. If you can bring back Frieza from the dead, you can bring back Cell. Cell was very cunning and ruthless in the way he chose to fight. Even though you can say the Cell games was a little bit just because of his own ego and wanting to start his own tournament just to test his own strength. But, there's another character on the show, Cough Cough Goku, who does that a lot too. So...
Ding, ding, ding.
And I mean, what we know about Frieza, with even in the movie, with him being able to go golden form and saying he had never trained before, if you think about it, we never saw Cell train. He was always absorbing things to get stronger. So who knows if he was given time to train, could he go Golden Cell or turn into Super Saiyan Cell? We we have the DNA from everybody.
Right, say super dynamic type shit.
Yeah. So we really don't know what's going on there. It definitely could make for an interesting storyline.
That's my guy. Cell. I'm probably the only person that says that about Cell, huh? That's my guy.
I know. I actually like Cell. I like
Cell.
Cell a lot. I mean,
you know, I like them
he's
asshole motherfuckers. So
yeah. His arrogance is just hilarious. The way he completely wrecks people. I mean, up until Gohan going Super Saiyan 2, of course.
Didn't beat his ass with one arm. Dragon Ball Z was like it's like the WWE in the sense that they build up these things and then they just completely destroy them to where you just can't even respect it anymore.
Right,
like
exactly.
even Super Saiyan stuff, it's like Super Saiyan is the truth until the new motherfucker shows up and beats their breaks off of them, and then they got to go learn a whole new level of something else.
New transformation, right? Yeah. It's kind of like watching a John Cena match. Like Brock Lesnar destroys John Cena for 30 minutes, and then John Cena has a crazy comeback and wins in the last 5 minutes. That's basically a Dragon Ball Z fight.
The ultimate
it's like, oh, this guy, right? This guy is so powerful, no one can touch him, and then someone gets a new transformation, and they become John Cena. So yeah, number 6. Right, John Cena sucks. So number 6, probably one of the favorite characters that technically is not considered canon because he only appears in filler, but Pycon is my guy. Yeah,
is he
so
a Namek,
he's
or is he just like a fish?
He's not a Namek actually. He just has very similar appearance to a Namek.
So he's like a hit motherfucker.
But he's actually
what he is.
He's actually from south or west, one of the other galaxies. So for anyone who doesn't know, King Kai is the Kaioshin for the North Galaxy. And then there's an East Galaxy, a West Galaxy, and a South Galaxy. Well, there's also this guy called the Grand Kai who is above the King Kai's rank, and then you have the Supreme Kai above him. So the Grand Kai has what's called the Otherworld Tournament for people who are dead to participate in this martial arts tournament for entertainment. Pycon comes from one of the other galaxies. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly which one. I want to say it's South Galaxy, but I'm not 100% sure. But he's shown to be on par with, at that time, Super Saiyan perfected Goku. He has some really unique techniques as well, like his he does a spinning hurricane kick that makes a tornado. He has like this thing where he does a Kamehameha, but instead of it being a Kamehameha, it's like literally fire that he shoots out of his hands, which is pretty awesome.
I remember that from the game.
Yeah, so pretty dope character. And I mean, even though it's filler, he's shown to, like, he literally one-shots like Cell and Frieza and King Cold. So we know he's pretty powerful. I mean, at that time at least, when his character is introduced. Basically, at that time, he's probably the strongest person other than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So yeah, I think it would have been really cool to make him canon by having him come to the Tournament of Power, and his interesting techniques would have been very hard for people to adjust to, having never seen anybody fight like that style. Like, instead of Goku, Goku has the Kamehameha, but almost every character on the show knows how to use some type of energy blast. But it's a little different when the person is literally shooting fire at you.
Right.
So
in theory, you shouldn't be able to just block fire.
Right, exactly. In theory. So, number 5, Majin Buu. I mean, the only reason he's not in the tournament is because the story. Fat Buu, because technically he's the only Buu left. Yeah, Kid Buu dies and gets reincarnated as
the one that actually didn't get into the tournament. Dumb shit. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So he literally decided to go take a nap because it's kind of funny. He actually gets skinny. Like, he apparently does a whole bunch of training and gets skinny and looks kind of similar to Super Buu. But then Goku fights him, and then after he fights Goku, apparently he gets really, really hungry, and then he eats, and then he goes and takes a nap. And according to Hercule, when Majin Buu naps, it lasts months at a time. So
Buu is B. Okay.
Basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, fair assessment. So yeah, so Majin Buu, I mean, we saw him in the initial, like, what did they call it? It wasn't the Tournament of Power, it was like the exhibition match before the Tournament of Power. He fights one of the werewolf brothers from Universe 9. And we see, I mean, he's still Majin Buu. He's still one of the more powerful characters on the show. I mean, yeah, Goku, Vegeta, and Golden Frieza have surpassed him, and Gohan, once he unlocks his Mystic or Ultimate form, surpasses him. But Majin Buu is still stronger than Perfect Cell and all the other characters before him. So he has the ability to regenerate, so you can literally shoot a hole in him and he just puffs back up like the Marshmallow Man. Right. And they also have very high stamina. I mean, Majin Buu probably doesn't have as much ridiculous stamina as Kid Buu, but he's still got pretty high amounts of stamina compared to a normal character. So, which brings me to number 4, Mystic Gohan. I've had this debate numerous times with some of our friends. Unfortunately, they don't really seem to understand that Mystic Gohan is the strongest character in Dragon Ball Z other than Fusion. I don't know why they don't get that. It baffles my mind, but they don't. So I am putting it on air, on record. Mystic Gohan is the strongest character in Dragon Ball Z other than Buu when he absorbs Gotenks and Vegito Fusion. So Mystic Gohan, yeah, once he gets his transformation back to Mystic or unlocks it again, whatever you want to call it, he's easily one of the strongest characters in Super. Like, yeah, Goku and Vegeta are still stronger than he is, but he's right there. He's extremely powerful. The thing that a lot of people might not know, what makes the Mystic Ultimate, whatever you want to call it, transformation so powerful, is that essentially it makes it so that you don't need to power up. You have access to all of your energy at all times, so you don't need to power up to go through a transformation to get stronger. You just have your energy, and that's what you have access to when you need to use it. It also seems to enhance your senses on like a almost, you know, psionic level where you have even better senses than a normal person does. So very valuable. And Gohan, as much as people like to criticize him for being a student, he's very intelligent. He's very good at coming up with unique strategies, just like Piccolo is. He's a very much like a thinking the situation through instead of just jumping in and punching something and finding out what will happen later. So, number 3, Golden Frieza. I mean, he has a whole movie dedicated to him. His power level is pretty ridiculous considering that he literally only trained for like 3 months. It really doesn't make any sense that he would be able to go from being one of the weaker characters to suddenly being actually stronger than Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta, but that was apparently plot armor, so I have to work with what I'm given. Golden Frieza absolutely deserves to be on this team. He's by far one of the most powerful characters they have available. And to be fair, if you watch the Tournament of Power, there's quite a few moments where he shows his value to the team, as much as people like to criticize Frieza for being a poor character. So, number 2 and number 1, pretty obvious. Number 2, Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue. I mean, unfortunately, I'm going based off of before the actual tournament starts, so we didn't really know what people were going to get for extra transformations and things like that.
True.
So, you know, didn't know Goku was going to get Ultra Instinct at that time. Didn't know Vegeta was going to get a new Super Saiyan Blue transformation at the time. But even just taking before the Tournament of Power, Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta's probably, in my opinion, the second strongest character. The only reason Goku is stronger is because he can go Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken, so he gets number 1. if anyone's wondering why a character didn't make this list, obviously feel free to ask questions, but the only characters that maybe should be on the list but can't be is Whis and Beerus, who the gods and angels are not allowed to participate in the tournament. So, that's why they're not on the list. But if you have any questions about another character that you feel like should have been on the list, feel free to give your input and we can debate that. So,
comment section is always open and available for anybody's opinion, stupid as it may be or smart as it may be. I said you hear it, and if we get enough, we'll make a podcast about it, or we'll do a secondary show to this series called Answering the What If. Probably have a better name, but just going as a go right now. I said you hear it, but yeah. So new series, folks. Expect a lot more. There's more rapid fire. Petties can get pretty long, and lists can get pretty long with the debates and everything that come back and forth, especially if we start talking to you guys out there. But these series are nice little quick snapshots, give you something to feast on. You can watch it one time through and then play with those questions and stuff backwards, and then, like we said, if there's enough, we'll make you a rebuttal show, because we're here to argue with you. I said you heard. But until later on today, when we bring you the Petty review, and Petty must not be on the mic anymore because he definitely would have said something Majin Buu. So, from your boy Jose, Petty Review, and the boy Shine the Don, we are out until later on when we get to holler about Fastlane. I said you heard. Till then,
take it easy, YouTube.
Little on a bitch. I said you heard. And we out.